at 0700 hours on the 6th of June, 1944. Lookouts on Japanese destroyer Minazuki spot a periscope. The destroyer is patrolling Sibutu Passage between Borneo and Tawi Tawi. Range approximately 1,000 yards. The destroyer turns toward the submarine. Speed increases to 30 knots. The captain orders depth charge racks armed. USS Harder does not dive deep. Commander Samuel Dealey watches through the periscope. The destroyer grows larger. 900 yards. 800. 700. The submarine does not turn away. Dealey is waiting. He is counting. The range closes. At 600 yards, Harder fires 3 torpedoes from her stern tubes. Down the throat shot. The torpedoes race toward the oncoming destroyer. The Japanese cannot evade at this range. 2 torpedoes strike Minazuki below the waterline. The destroyer stops. Her bow rises. Depth charges begin detonating as she sinks. The explosions tear through her hull. Within 5 minutes, Minazuki is gone. 475 men die. 45 survive. Dealey turns Harder away. Submarines are supposed to hide from destroyers. They are supposed to dive deep when detected. They are supposed to evade. Sam Dealey hunts destroyers instead. He has decided they are not hunters. They are prey. USS Harder was a Gato-class fleet submarine. Hull number SS-257. Laid down December 1, 1941 at Electric Boat Company, Groton, Connecticut. Launched August 19, 1942. Commissioned December 2, 1942. Standard displacement 1,526 long tons surfaced. 2,424 long tons submerged. Length 311 feet 9 inches overall. Beam 27 feet 3 inches. Draft 15 feet 3 inches standard. 17 feet maximum. 4 General Motors model 16248 V16 diesel engines provided 5,400 brake horsepower for surface propulsion. 2 Elliott Company main motors with reduction gears drove twin screws submerged. 2,740 shaft horsepower submerged. Maximum speed 20.25 knots surfaced. 8.75 knots submerged. Range 11,000 nautical miles at 10 knots surfaced. Submerged endurance 48 hours at 2 knots. Operating depth 300 feet. Test depth 400 feet. Complement 6 officers. 54 enlisted. Armament was standard for Gato class. 10 21-inch torpedo tubes. 6 forward. 4 aft. 24 Mark 14 torpedoes. 1 3-inch 50 caliber deck gun forward of the conning tower. 2 50 caliber machine guns for anti-aircraft defense. By 1944, Harder had been modified. The 3-inch gun was replaced with a 4-inch 50 caliber Mark 9 gun. 2 20mm Oerlikon cannon were added. The original tall conning tower, Fairwater, was cut down to reduce silhouette. SJ surface search radar was installed. SD air search radar was mounted on a dedicated mast. The Mark 14 torpedo was notorious. Magnetic exploders detonated prematurely or failed to detonate. Depth keeping was erratic. Contact exploders failed on perpendicular hits. The Bureau of Ordnance denied problems existed. Submarine commanders conducted their own tests. They proved the torpedoes were defective. By mid-1943, most problems were corrected. The Mark 18 electric torpedo supplemented the Mark 14. The electric torpedo left no wake. It was invisible to targets, but it was slower and had shorter range. Sam Dealey was born September 13, 1906 in Dallas, Texas. Appointed to Naval Academy from Texas. Graduated June 1930. Commissioned ensign. Served on Battleship Nevada, Submarine School 1933. Qualified in submarines 1934. Served on S-20 and S-33. Executive officer of S-20 from 1939 to 1941. Prospective commanding officer, School, New London, 1942. On December 2, 1942, Dealey commissioned Harder at Portsmouth Navy Yard. He was her only commanding officer. He would remain her commanding officer until the submarine sank 21 months later. By then, he would be the most decorated submarine commander in the Pacific Fleet. By then, he would have fundamentally changed how the Navy viewed submarine capabilities. By then, he would be dead. Harder conducted shakedown off the East Coast. She transited the Caribbean. On March 23, 1943, a Navy patrol bomber attacked her by mistake. The bombs missed. Harder survived friendly fire. She transited the Panama Canal. She arrived Pearl Harbor May 31, 1943. First War Patrol departed Pearl Harbor, June 7, 1943. Operating area off southern Honshu, Japan. On June 21st, Harder attacked a two-ship convoy. Aggressive escort forced Harder deep. The submarine struck bottom in the mud. Dealey backed her off. No damage. On June 23rd, Harder torpedoed seaplane tender Sagara Maru, 7,000-ton ship. The tender reached shallow water and was beached. She was later destroyed. 3 more freighters were sunk. 4 more were damaged. Harder returned Pearl Harbor via Midway on July 7th. First patrol successful, despite torpedo problems and hitting bottom. Dealey received his first Navy Cross. Second patrol departed Pearl Harbor, August 24, 1943. Operating area off Honshu again. 14 days, 9 attacks. 5 ships sunk, 15,000 tons in post-war accounting. The submarine suffered continuous engine problems. Harder was fitted with Hooven-Owens-Rentschler engines. These engines were licensed from German firm MAN. They were unreliable. Spare parts were carried constantly. Repairs were made underway. Harder returned Pearl Harbor via Midway October 7th. Second patrol successful. Dealey received his second Navy Cross. Third patrol was Wolfpack operation. Harder, Snook, and Pargo formed a coordinated attack group. Mission was attacking Japanese shipping around the Marianas in preparation for Tarawa invasion. Communications difficulties separated the submarines. Harder operated independently. She sank freighter, 3 freighter transports, and an armed trawler. She returned Pearl Harbor, December 7, 1943. Third patrol successful. Dealey received his third Navy Cross. Fourth patrol departed Pearl Harbor, March 16, 1944 with USS Seahorse. Lifeguard duty, rescuing downed aviators. On April 1st, Harder was ordered to rescue injured pilot stranded on beach on Japanese-held island west of Wolei. Air cover provided. Harder approached as close as possible. Boat was sent in. Despite enemy fire, pilot was rescued. Aviation machinist made first class. John Galvin and crew brought him aboard. On April 13th, Japanese aircraft spotted Harder north of Western Carolines. The aircraft reported position to destroyer Ikazuchi. The destroyer closed to attack. Range 900 yards. Dealey did not dive deep. He did not evade. He fired 4 torpedoes. Down the throat shot again. Ikazuchi sank within 5 minutes. Dealey's report became famous. Expended 4 torpedoes and 1 Jap destroyer. 4 days later, Harder attacked merchant ship escorted by destroyers. 4 torpedoes fired. 7,000-ton Matsue Maru sank. 1 escort was damaged. On April 20th, Harder surfaced off Wolei under cover of rain squall. The 4-inch deck gun bombarded shore installations. Harder ended patrol at Fremantle, Western Australia on May 3rd. 4th patrol extraordinarily successful. 1 destroyer sunk. 1 merchant ship sunk. 1 pilot rescued under fire. Shore bombardment completed. Dealey received his 4th Navy Cross. Prior to April 1944, American submarines avoided destroyers. Destroyers were hunters. Submarines were prey. The doctrine was clear. If detected by destroyer, dive deep. Go silent. Evade. Do not engage. Destroyers had speed, depth charges, and sonar. Submarines had stealth. Trading stealth for combat against destroyers was considered foolish, but intelligence changed the calculation. Ultra codebreakers revealed Japan was suffering acute destroyer shortage. Losses in Solomon's campaign were severe. Convoy escorts were inadequate. Fleet screening forces were stretched thin. Destroying Japanese destroyers became priority. Sinking destroyers mattered more than sinking cargo ships or tankers. The strategic impact was greater. Fewer destroyers meant more merchant ships sunk by submarines. Fewer destroyers meant weaker fleet defenses. Fewer destroyers meant Japan losing control of sea lanes. Commander Charles Lockwood, Komsupak, authorized destroyer hunting. Dealey requested patrol area near Tawi Tawi, the major Japanese fleet anchorage off northeast Borneo. If Japanese fleet sortied, destroyers would screen the fleet. Harder would be positioned to intercept. Dealey got his assignment. 5th Patrol departed Fremantle May 26, 1944 with USS Redfin, destination Tawi Tawi. On June 6th, Harder encountered destroyer Minazuki in Sabutu Passage. The down-the-throat attack sank the destroyer in 5 minutes. Harder went deep. Depth charges exploded overhead. The submarine evaded. On June 7th, Harder surfaced to charge batteries. Japanese aircraft spotted the submarine. Destroyer Hayanami was vectored to intercept. Dealey watched the destroyer approach. He did not dive deep. Range 1,000 yards. He fired 3 torpedoes. 2 struck Hayanami amidships. The destroyer sank tail first. 9 minutes from sighting to sinking. Harder went deep again. Depth charges rained down. Aerial bombs fell. The attacks continued for hours. Harder evaded. 2 destroyers in 2 days. The Japanese were searching intensively now. They knew a submarine was operating in Sibutu Passage. Harder proceeded to northeast Borneo. 6 Australian coastwatchers were evacuated. Intelligence officers from Department Z were brought aboard. Harder returned to Sibutu Passage on June 9th. The Japanese fleet was still at Tawi Tawi. Destroyers patrolled constantly. On the evening of June 8th, Harder encountered several destroyers searching in line abreast. Dealey positioned Harder where he could engage 2 simultaneously. He fired 6 torpedoes. Both destroyers, Tanikaze and Kazaguno, were hit. Tanikaze sunk. Kazaguno was heavily damaged but may have reached port. By this point, Japanese forces were frantic. Contact reports flooded headquarters. A submarine was repeatedly attacking destroyers near Tawi Tawi. Multiple destroyers had been sunk. The fleet anchorage was under threat. Admiral Somu Toyota believed Tawi Tawi was surrounded by American submarines. He ordered the mobile fleet to depart a day early. The premature departure disrupted Japanese battle plans. Admiral Jisaburo Ozawa's carrier force was forced to delay in the Philippine Sea. This contributed to Japanese defeat in the Battle of the Philippine Sea. On June 10th, Harder sighted a large Japanese task force, 3 battleships, 4 cruisers, screening destroyers. Japanese aircraft spotted Harder at periscope depth. Screening destroyer raced toward her position at 35 knots. Range closed rapidly, 1,500 yards. Dealey fired 3 torpedoes. Down the throat. Harder went deep. The torpedoes struck within 1 minute. The explosions were deafening. Harder passed 80 feet beneath the sinking destroyer. The concussion was worse than depth charges. Violent shaking. Equipment broke loose. Men were thrown against bulkheads. When Harder surfaced hours later, only a lighted buoy marked where the destroyer sank. 5 destroyers in 4 days. Minazuki on June 6th. Hayanami on June 7th. Tanikaze on June 8th or 9th. The destroyer on June 10th was never positively identified. Some sources suggest it was damaged but survived. Others claim it sank. Post-war analysis credited Harder with sinking 3 destroyers confirmed, damaging or destroying 2 more. The strategic impact was enormous. The Japanese fleet departed Tawi Tawi early. Battle plans were disrupted. American victory at Philippine Sea was aided by Harder's attacks. Harder returned Darwin July 3rd. General Douglas MacArthur presented Dealey with Army Distinguished Service Cross on the spot, equivalent to Navy Cross. Harder proceeded to Fremantle. Dealey was recommended for Medal of Honor. The recommendation was approved. The medal would be presented posthumously. Submarine doctrine changed after Harder's 5th patrol. Destroyers were no longer avoided. They were hunted. The down-the-throat attack became standard tactic. Fire torpedoes directly at approaching destroyer. 3 torpedoes in tight spread. The closing rate meant the destroyer could not evade even if it detected the torpedoes. The submarine would dive deep immediately after firing. Pass beneath the target. The explosions overhead were terrifying, but the submarine would be past the impact point before depth charges could be dropped. The tactic was risky. It required precise timing. It required steady nerves. It required waiting until the destroyer was close enough that evasion was impossible, but not so close that the torpedoes would not arm. The arming distance for Mark 14 torpedoes was approximately 450 yards. Firing at 900 yards gave margin for error. Firing at 600 yards was cutting it close, but it worked. Historians debate whether Dealey made 1 patrol too many. Clay Blair argued Dealey should have been rotated stateside for rest after 5th patrol. Dealey had conducted 6 war patrols in 18 months. Between 3rd and 4th patrol, he had short refit in California. Otherwise, no rest from combat. All patrols were supremely aggressive. Dozens of engagements, constant stress, constant danger. Fatigue accumulates. Judgment degrades. The submarine service recognized this. Successful commanders were rotated after 4 or 5 patrols. Dealey was not rotated. 6th Patrol departed Fremantle August 5, 1944. Harder, Hado, and Hake formed Wolfpack. Dealey commanded as senior officer present. Operating area west of Luzon. On August 20th, USS Ray tracked large convoy into Palawan Bay on northwestern coast of Mindoro. Ray contacted Harder. Megaphone conversation. Dealey formulated plan. Concentrated dawn wolfpack attack. When convoy sortied 0545 August 21st, 5 American submarines attacked. Harder, Hado, Hake, Ray, and Gitaro. 4 merchantmen totaling 22,400 tons were sunk. Hado sank 2. Gitaro sank 1. Ray fired remaining torpedoes. Harder failed to score. The convoy steered away after Ray's attack. Dealey was denied targets. On August 22nd, Hado, Harder, and Heck continued north. On August 23rd, Hado contacted tanker escorted by destroyer. Hado fired spread. The torpedoes blew the bow off the destroyer. Hado expended her last torpedoes. She received Sam's blessing and departed south to replenish. Harder and Hake proceeded to Dassault Bay. On morning of August 24th, both submarines were positioned off Cayman Point, west coast of Luzon. Harder was 4,500 yards south of Haki at 0453, Hokkaido at 0532. Echo ranging was detected to the south. Japanese vessels were leaving Dassault Bay. At 0554, Hake spotted 2 sets of masts. Battle stations torpedo? The targets were identified as destroyer Fra Ruang, captured from Thailand, and minesweeper or frigate CD-22. Hake maneuvered for attack. At approximately 0700, Hake's commander Frank Haler spotted Harder's periscope dead ahead. Range 600 to 700 yards. Haler broke off attack. He changed course. He took Hake deep. He rigged for depth charge. CD-22 detected both submarines. The frigate was new, bristling with anti-submarine equipment, sonar, depth charge racks, experienced crew. The frigate turned toward the contacts. Echo ranging continued. The frigate apparently detected 2 targets but could not determine which was which. Dealey held position. Haler dove deep and crossed his fingers. As CD-22 approached head-on, Dealey fired 3 torpedoes. Down the throat. Range unknown. Possibly as close as 600 yards. The torpedoes missed or failed to detonate. CD-22 did not evade. The frigate continued toward Harder. At approximately 0728, depth charges began falling. The pattern was accurate. Multiple charges detonated close to Harder. Hake heard the explosions. The depth charging continued for some time. Then silence. Hake surfaced after dark. No sign of Harder. On August 25th, Hake searched for survivors. None found. Harder was overdue at Fremantle. On September 29th, she was presumed lost. All 79 crew members were declared dead. Commander Samuel David Dealey, 6 officers, 72 enlisted men. Japanese records confirm CD-22 attacked submarine in Dassault Bay morning of August 24th. Depth charges were dropped. Oil, wood chips, and cork floated to surface. The submarine was claimed sunk. Position 15 degrees 50 minutes north, 119 degrees 43 minutes east. The claim was accurate. Harder went down with all hands. On May 22, 2024, wreck of Harder was discovered. Tim Taylor and Lost 52. Project located the submarine in South China Sea near Philippines' northern island of Luzon. Video footage confirmed identification. U.S. Navy officially recognized the discovery. The wreck lies in Dassault Bay at the position claimed by Japanese in 1944. Harder rests on the bottom with her crew. It is a war grave. Protected site. Dealey was posthumously awarded Medal of Honor. The citation noted conspicuous gallantry and intrepidity at risk of his life above and beyond the call of duty during 5th War Patrol. 5 Japanese destroyers sunk in 5 short-range torpedo attacks. Remarkable record, attesting valiant fighting spirit of Commander Dealey and his indomitable command. He also received Silver Star for actions during 6th Patrol. Harder received Presidential Unit Citation for first 5 patrols. 6 Battle Stars for World War II service. All 6 patrols designated successful. She sank 18 ships totaling approximately 54,000 tons in official accounting. Post-war analysis adjusted figures, but numbers matter less than impact. Harder proved destroyers could be hunted. Harder changed submarine doctrine. Harder disrupted Japanese battle plans. Harder contributed to American victory at Philippine Sea. The comparison with other submarine commanders is instructive. Eugene Fluckey on USS Barb sank 17 ships. Richard O'Kane on USS Tang sank 24 ships before Tang was sunk by her own torpedo. Dudley Morton on USS Wahoo was legendary for aggression before Wahoo was lost. Sam Dealey ranks among them. Not for total tonnage, not for number of ships, for changing how the war was fought. Before Harder's 5th Patrol, submarines avoided destroyers. After Harder's 5th Patrol, submarines hunted destroyers. The down-the-throat attack became standard. Commanders who previously evaded now engaged. Japanese destroyers, already scarce, became scarcer. Convoy escorts dwindled. Fleet screens weakened. Japanese shipping losses increased because fewer destroyers meant less protection. The strategic impact rippled through the entire Pacific campaign. The cost was Harder and her crew, 79 men. Dealey had been offered rotation stateside. He chose to continue. He had momentum. He had success. He had confidence. One more patrol. Just one more. The submarine service debated whether fatigue contributed to his loss, whether judgment had degraded, whether the aggressive tactics that brought success also brought death. There are no answers, only questions. What is known is that Dealey fired 3 torpedoes at CD-22. The torpedoes missed or failed. CD-22 counterattacked. Harder went down. Whether Dealey misjudged the range, whether the torpedoes malfunctioned, whether CD-22 detected the launch and evaded, whether Harder had mechanical problems that prevented her from going deep fast enough. None of this is certain. Japanese records state depth charges sank a submarine. American records state Harder was lost in that location on that date. The wreck confirms both. Dealey's legacy is the doctrine he established. Hunt destroyers. Attack aggressively. Use down-the-throat shots. Do not evade. The tactics he pioneered were adopted fleet-wide. Other commanders emulated his methods. Tang, Barb, Archerfish, Flasher, all used down-the-throat attacks successfully. The Japanese destroyer force, already depleted, was systematically hunted by American submarines. By late 1944, Japanese destroyers were scarce enough that convoy escorts often consisted of converted merchant ships and small patrol craft. Larger warships could not be spared. The human cost of submarine warfare was severe. 52 American submarines were lost during World War II. 3,505 submariners died. This was the highest casualty rate of any branch of American military service. 22% of submariners who went on patrol never returned. The men who served in submarines knew the odds. They served anyway. They believed in the mission. They trusted their commanders. They went deep into enemy waters and attacked targets that could kill them. Many never came back. Harder's crew knew the risks. 6 patrols in 21 months. Every patrol successful. Every patrol dangerous. They had been depth-charged dozens of times. They had been bombed from the air. They had attacked destroyers at point-blank range. They had passed beneath exploding ships. They had fought and survived and fought again. On August 24, 1944, their luck ran out. CD-22 put depth charges on target. Harder's hull ruptured. Water flooded in. The submarine sank quickly. There was no time to surface. No time to abandon ship. No survivors. The Navy named destroyer escort DE 1006 for Sam Dealey in 1953. She was lead ship of Dealey class. She served until 1972. A second submarine, SSN 596, was named Dealey in 2007. Virginia-class attack submarine, still in service. The name continues. The legacy continues. USS Harder. SS-257, commissioned December 2, 1942. Lost August 24, 1944. 21 months of service. 6 war patrols. 18 ships sunk. 5 destroyers destroyed in 4 days. Changed submarine doctrine. Disrupted enemy battle plans. Contributed to strategic victory. All 79 crew members lost. Wreck discovered 80 years later. Submarines are supposed to hide from destroyers. Sam Dealey decided to hunt them instead. He proved it could be done. He demonstrated the tactics. He trained other commanders by example. He died doing it. But the doctrine he established outlived him. Destroyers became prey. Submarines became hunters. The balance of power in the Pacific shifted. Japan lost control of sea lanes, not just because American submarines sank merchant ships. Japan lost control because American submarines destroyed the destroyers that protected merchant ships. That was Harder's contribution, not just the ships she sank. The fear she created. Japanese fleet departed Tawi Tawi early because Admiral Toyota believed the anchorage was surrounded by submarines. It was not. It was one submarine, harder, one submarine attacking so aggressively, so repeatedly. The Japanese assumed multiple submarines were present. One commander willing to hunt destroyers created strategic effect far beyond the tonnage he sank. On June 10, 1944, after sinking or damaging 5 destroyers in 4 days, Harder surfaced. Only a lighted buoy marked where the last destroyer went down. Dealey turned the submarine toward Darwin. The crew knew they had accomplished something extraordinary. They had hunted the hunters. They had won. They had 2 more months to live. They did not know that. They celebrated their victory. They had earned it. They would earn it again on their final patrol when they helped sink 4 merchantmen. Then CD-22 would find them. Then depth charges would end their war. The destroyer killer. That was Harder. That was Dealey. Hit 'em harder. That was the motto. That was the philosophy. Submarines do not hide from destroyers. They attack them. They sink them. They hunt them to extinction. Sam Dealey proved it. 79 men died proving it. The doctrine they established saved countless other submariners and sank countless enemy ships. The price was paid in Dassel Bay on August 24, 1944. The wreck rests there still. The crew rests there still. The legacy lives on.